The Pelicans fall to the Memphis Grizzlies away on the first night of the season for them, 128 to 122. G'day everyone and welcome to Flock. I am your host, Lyle Swithenbank, at Lyle Swithenbank on Twitter and on TikTok and YouTube if you're listening to the audio version, and of course at Lyle Pels on Instagram. Thank you so much for the support so far, guys. It has been really lovely getting back into it for this season. The off-season is over. The pre-season is done. The season is here. And we get dished up a third quarter that Pels fans know all too well. So where to begin? Well, let's begin at the start. A lot of hype coming into the game. Brand new Pelicans squad. Zion returns. Trey looking to make that leap. Herb Jones, as we know, back from those injuries. Trey and Herb respectively. Missy with another year under his belt. Jordan Poole, the big acquisition. Kevon Looney sideline, so we're going in a little bit small. Derek Queen debut after a mysterious off-season where we didn't see much of him after that injury in Summer League. And Jeremiah Fears, gosh, as good as advertised, perhaps better. We're going to talk about all of that today on this episode. So, where to begin? Well, let's just have a look at the quarter-by-quarter summary because I think that is probably the best place to start. The Pelicans leapt out the gates. We had them, well, I think we were up by 12 or 14 after the first 4 or 5 minutes. Absolutely smashing them. Jordan Poole was hitting threes like he was unable to miss. He was fantastic. I think he hit the first 3 shots for the Pelicans. He was hitting threes from the logo. Zion was looking hungry. Herb Jones was doing this sort of Draymond Green type, that's disrespectful to Herb, but that sort of offensive hub, as well as being so defensive that it was everything that we'd missed. He was back. Trey Murphy took a little bit to get into it, but was made up by everyone else. Just coming out and really punching Memphis in the mouth to start the game. Couldn't have been more proud with how we started. And I said, geez, this is the exact offense we want to play. Defend hard, push the pace, move the ball, and it all starts working. Make your shots. And all of a sudden, golly gosh, the team looked great. Unfortunately, you can't play everyone 45 minutes, despite what Tom Thibodeau will let you or have you think with his lineups throughout the history. The Pelicans sort of ran out of steam. We had a very young second unit come in. Jeremiah Fears, Jordan Hawkins, who we know has been a bit scratchy and streaky in the off-season, and Hunter Dickinson, the two-way player, rookie, come in at centre, and Sadiq Bey. Now, Sadiq Bey came in, looked a little bit rusty, got into his rhythm further on in the game, but gosh, the rest of the team, man, oh man, we came out looking like a little bit shell-shocked. And Memphis turned up the heat. They started making some shots. Their bench came in, gave them a real push. And despite a lot of foul trouble in that first quarter and throughout the game, Memphis managed to really drag themselves back in. And in the end, only trailing by 3 to finish the quarter. What that showed was that we are very top-heavy, as we knew, and it's going to take a little bit for that bench momentum to work out, and perhaps there's a piece that's missing, and maybe that shifts a little bit when Missy can move into that second unit and Looney comes in, or vice versa, and we get a backup centre. But sorry to say it to Hunter Dickinson. It was his first game, and he battled, but he looked like, a third-string rookie centre who's just come out of college, and he's big. He had a nice touch around the rim at times, but the pace really got to him. And when you put out there with just Zion, who's going to be able to put you in positions to be successful, it's really difficult to not be able to keep up with the pace of the game. And I don't want to harp on him because he only played 4 minutes, and I'm glad Willie Green adjusted quicker. because a lot of momentum shifted after that first quarter. What I did like is that we reset at the start of the second quarter and went back to what we were good at. Defending hard, moving the ball, hitting shots. Jeremiah Fears controlling a lot of the second unit ball handling duties and was fantastic for first game rookie. He looked like he'd been playing for years. 37-29, and Derek Queen comes in and we start seeing him get up into the flow of the game. Again, takes a charge, gets cooked on defense, comes back, gets a charge taken on him. Beautiful. You see this shift that if I can't impact it in scoring, it took a little while, he hit a free throw and that's how he got his first point. You have to impact the game other way. And he showed that in his ability to defend at the rim, set screens, rotate when required, and he didn't look out of place at all. So I was quite impressed by both the rookies as a side note, and we'll get to the breakdown of the team as we go. And then we head off into the halftime, and I don't know what we do. We put on some smooth jazz and perhaps have a cool drink of water or maybe a hot cup of tea, something that just calms everyone down. And then for 20 minutes, whatever power nap type setup we've been doing in that halftime, we did it again. We did it again and went to sleep. And Memphis went into halftime and realised they weren't performing to the standard they're required to and woke up. And what happened? They went on a run. And at one point, I think we were outscored 16-0. There was a 16-0 run. It was 19-6 at one point. 22-41 in that third quarter. And that's where you lost the game. You had a great lead. You were up by, what were we up by? 8-9 points at halftime. And you let a team back into it. And of course, it's a game of runs. 9, 10, 12 points is nothing in this day and age. They can get back at that. 20 in this day and age with the proliferation of the threes is gettable. You just chip away. And because it's a game of runs, you've got to have your run at the best time. And we just let them get all the momentum. Let the crowd get back into it. We had them stunned. And instead, you let a team back in. And then it's all drawed at three-quarter time and becomes a real shit fight. Pardon the French. It really did. 33-31. You can't have... you win the last quarter. You win 3 out of 4. But you lose the third quarter. The premiership quarter, we call that in Aussie rules football. And that costs you the game. And what happened in that third quarter? Well, it was turnovers. Not taking care of the ball. So we stopped all the ball movement. Forcing passes. And Memphis turned up the screws, right? They were physical. By the amount of fouls they gave away, you could see they were more physical. They wanted to make sure that the Pelicans were earning everything because at the first half they were driving in and that was creating opportunities on the outside. But you have to adjust, and you have to be able to adjust on the fly. And I don't think we were able to adjust to the intensity. Yes, we held on and kept fighting, and you end up losing by only 6, and it was 3 points to go for most of the last couple of minutes. Back and forth, 1 point, 3 point, 1 point. But the inability to get stops down the stretch, the clutch time performance, and turning the ball over when it mattered. You had an opportunity with about 8 seconds to go, and out of bounds, Zion inbounds the ball, and Trey Murphy's not watching, and it bounces off him. I know the play was not for Trey Murphy. I know that he was coming off a screen there, setting his own screen, get Jordan Poole early. Zion saw something that the rest of you didn't, and because you were too busy focusing on what the play was, you didn't play the player, and you didn't read what was going on. And then it bounces off Trey's head, turnover, and it's over. Disappointing way to end when there were so many positives. I've sounded like I've drummed on like, oh gosh, it's doom and gloom. It was the third quarter. That was it. You erased that. Plenty to like. And we're going to talk about that now. So, let's have a look at some of the key stats because we like to have a look at that. So, field goal percentage 45-51 in favour of Memphis. We had a whole heap more shots. And what that means is that you turned them over and you got points off turnovers. And we were very good at that. 37% from three, kept them to 29%. They were bad from three-point land. And that was because the defense was great for most of the game. You turned it over, you forced difficult shots, and you made them beat you. Unfortunately, we were really bad at stopping Ja Morant. And we'll get to that. Free throws. You leave 9 on the table, 71%, 22 or 31. You went into the paint, you got your free throws. They had 43, mind you. No wonder the game felt like it went forever. 81%, 35 of 43. Were they getting touch fouls? Absolutely. Did Jaren Jackson Jr. have 45 fouls himself? Absolutely. Should he have fouled out in probably the third quarter? Yeah. But you live and die by the whistle, right? And you have to play through it. And at times, I don't think we adjusted to the fact that we were getting hacked to the living daylights. Now, fast break points, they had 22-19. Probably a lot of that came in the third quarter. Steals, we had 10. We were really good at putting a double team in a timely position and upsetting their offense, making sure that we were jumping the passing lanes, just being annoying when the ball came into their paint and turning the ball over time and time again. And I credit Herb Jones. Zion was incredible at that. And him looking so much fitter has meant that he's playing more and more and being able to obtain those steals. We said that blocks, they had 12-4. You got Jaren Jackson Jr., Jock Landau was getting, he had about 300 fouls as well. It is what it is. Lost the rebounding battle. It was always going to happen. Points off turnovers even at 21 and a piece. But how many turnovers did we have? Turnovers, we had 14 and they had 17. Up until the third quarter, we had 5. Halfway through, I think we had 7 in about 5 minutes. And what you can't let happen, particularly when the other team, you've got them on the back foot, is turn the ball over, be careless with it. And of course, the other team's responsible for helping you get pressured and to turn the ball over. It's composure. Taking care of the ball, making sure you're executing in the half court. Because if, for some unknown reason, you turn the ball over, the next possession, you're almost guaranteed to turn the ball over again. And it happened, I think we turned the ball over 3 possessions in a row, and they're right back into the game. You just cannot allow carelessness to creep in and complacency. And I think that's really what happened. Not being able to react to the flow of the game. We live and we learn. We live and we learn. You turn them over 17 times, you should win. There's not many teams that would lose the turnover battle to that, with 17 and win. I think they'd be pretty happy with that not happy with the turnovers, but happy that they managed to steal one there when we really controlled the game for 3 quarters. And it was probably a 6-minute period that cost us the whole game. Young team, new team, people getting assimilated into the new offense. There's a number of things. It's game 1. We take it down. I think people are going to react to this negatively because of last season where we saw similar things where we couldn't play a third quarter to save ourselves. However, this was a little bit different because we responded. And instead of letting go in the rope, we started fighting back. We adjusted. And third quarter we won. Go figure. Unfortunately, not enough. So, let's go to the box score now. I do like going through the box score. While it doesn't give you the full picture, it does paint who was important. So we started with Trey Murphy, Zion, Eve, Herb Jones, Jordan Poole. It's quite a good little lineup. Trey Murphy, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 15 shooting, 1 3-pointer made of 6, 16%, and a turnover. He was a -3 on the night. There was a lot of expectations on Trey this year. What he was tonight was not aggressive. He looked confused. He looked like he was passive in the offense. I think Jordan Poole was a focus on getting him going early, and it really took it till the second quarter for Trey to sort of get into the rhythm a little bit. And by then, you could see that he was over-dribbling. He wasn't really being put in position to be successful, and sometimes hid in the corner. That's not what I want to see from Trey. I want that ultra-aggressive, get him going. Zion is always a second-half player. He fills his stats up after three-quarter time when he can sort of work things out. Trey's got to be better. And I know he's probably the first one to tell you, yeah, I've got to be better. Zion, I thought, was great. I think there was criticism of Zion. He had 27 points. He had 9 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He had 5 steals. He's 5 of 21. 7 of 12 from free throws. That was his knock. He was getting there and then left some on the table. You know, you leave 5 points on the table, you only lose by 6. You know, you're not going to hit all of them, but you can't be shooting at 58%. You got to be getting that up, and I'm hoping that as he continues to get more reps, that improves. Eve 5-7, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. He injured himself right at the end. Last thing we needed was a rolled ankle. He went up, landed on Jaren Jackson Jr.'s foot, no foul. Where's the camera? Yeah, thumbs up. Unreal. He's off. Down to Derek Queen and at Big Hunter as the 2 centres that are healthy, with Victor Wembanyama coming to visit the Smoothie King Centre on Friday. Woohoo! Herb Jones, 17, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 6. He should have 2 if you ask Joel Myers. 6 of 14, 3 of 5 from 3, hit his free throws, had 2 turnovers, but was definitely handling the ball more, and was a plus 11 on the night. Eve Missy was actually our best player with plus 14. Herb was exceptional. I have no qualms with how Herb played. I thought he did everything. He ended up fouling out. Silly touch fouls that weren't getting called at the other end. It's fine. It's fine. But it's early in the season for the refs as well. I thought he was really good. It was a Herb Jones of old. In fact, he was doing more. He was scoring more. His 3-point shot looked really fluid. He looked confident in taking it, and I honestly love what he did. Jordan Poole started really hot, sort of slowed down, 31 minutes, 17 points. He had 2 assists, 6 of 14, 3 of 7 from 3. No turnovers, which is good. You're not creating issues. But I think the altercation that he had with KCP, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, sort of derailed him. He was so focused then on, I've got to get this guy back, that he missed the point of what he was doing and was punishing them in the first quarter and second quarter, and then just sort of, I think, got between his ears a little bit. That's something he's going to have to focus on, because if they're going to go at him, he's going to have to realise that you're the 2IC or 3IC, teams are going to be on you. And he knows that from Washington. But you've got to stay focused. I think he could have had a better game. I don't think he was bad, but I think he knows he could have been better as well. Sadiq Bey off the bench, 29 minutes. He had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 5 of 12, 1 of 5 from 3. He'd won his 3-point shots back because some of them were wide open, and we needed him. We needed him to really hit those threes. That's what he's good at. He was strong down low, really good on Jaren Jackson. I thought being strong really worried Jackson at times. I think he was probably had his number for most of the night, particularly causing these silly fouls and frustration fouls that Jackson you can sometimes bait into. When he fouled out for pushing Herb, he should have already been out, but anyway, it was good to get him. Hunter Dickinson had 4 minutes. We talked about him. He's an end-of-the-bench guy, two-way guy, rookie. You can only get what you get out of him. Jordan Hawkins played 17 minutes. He's so streaky. He hit a 3, and you go, yes, but then you know, did he have any turnovers? He had 2 turnovers. There's some things, he gets targeted on defense as well. Ja Morant wanted to switch onto him every time to go at him. You can't be such a liability to the point where someone else is sitting. I don't know. Well, I assume Jose's not injured. He didn't play, Jose Alvarado. Yes, that's a small lineup, but at least he is aggressive defensively. And I don't think Jordan Hawkins showed enough to say that Jose should not play over 17 minutes of Hawkins. I don't know. Jeremiah Fears, 17 points, 2 assists, 7 of 10 shooting. Second half, animal, beast, weapon, 0 fears, fears nothing. Kid's a star. He is going to be an absolute star of this league. Jeremiah Fears is the point guard that we haven't had. The speed, the confidence, the athleticism, the sheer willingness to score the ball. He knew when we needed a bucket. You could see him. He's constantly working out how much time. His game management is great. And when we couldn't score, he said, stuff it. I'll go and do it. And that's all I can ask from a rookie. It's more than I can ask. Gosh, I've been really impressed with him. He was great in the preseason. It's followed through now. He's only going to keep getting better. Yeah, okay, people are going to start scouting him and realise, oh, hang on, we need to make sure that we're not letting him get to the rim. Or he's really quick and his change of pace is great. Those are things they're going to start coming into. He's got to remember not to argue with the ref. You're not going to get the rookie whistle. You're just going to have to suck it up this year. That's okay. Continue to attack. If it's obvious, they'll call it. And Derek Queen, 14 minutes, 3 points, 5 rebounds, a block, 1 of 4 shooting. He looked like he hadn't played basketball for 12 weeks. It's a reality. It's going to take some time. But we're going to need him. And he's going to have to get up to the speed of the game sooner rather than later and continue to contribute. What we can't have is ill-taken mid-range shots. He took one and long shot, you missed that, rebound, they're off to the races down the other end. He's going to learn that. Play within the offense. If you aren't getting the ball, do other things. You got your 5 rebounds, you got a block, you took a charge. All of those things are what he's going to have to do, particularly early on in his career, until he becomes a more established player. Then when we know what you can do, and you've shown, I'm 100% bought in down here, I'm going to get more of the ball on the offense. Then you're going to have that opportunity. But I like what I saw. I wasn't shocked by anything that he did. I thought he had a crack. The shot will fall. And the more opportunity he gets, the better he's going to get as well. So, to be fair, as I said, it wasn't one of those games where I'm like, oh gosh, sack everyone, I'm sick of this team. No, there was plenty to take away. And plenty that we can build on. It was just annoying because you're in a position to win. And you don't close that game off when you had the opportunity to. So, all learning. We move. We persevere. What can you do? We live and we learn. And the beauty of the NBA is that in 2 days, we play again. We play again. So, key takeaways from the game. Number 1, Jeremiah Fears is fantastic. I'm really excited about him. I want to get his jersey whenever the City jerseys come out. That's the one I want to go and get. I think he is wicked. He is a great player. I love his little step back, one-legged shot. I think he can get to the rim at will. He breaks down defenses. He knows when to go fast. He doesn't rush. He gets hacked to the living daylights every time. And as he continues to mature, world's his oyster. I think he's a really good player. I thought Zion was good. He played 33 minutes or just over, which last year would have been his second most minutes in any game. They asked about it after the game, and he talked about being able to stay out there longer, feeling good. It was more of the same. What I loved is he went up and did the press conference. You lose the game. You could see he was frustrated. You could see he didn't want to be there. That's what your leader does. He goes up, he takes the mic, and he answers the questions. And he was very good. No qualms from Zion. Thought he was really good. And my third key takeaway is Herb Jones is back. Anyone that they weren't saying he's the best perimeter defender. Oh, he's, who's Herb Jones? Never heard of him. Wouldn't know him if you walked past me in the street. Herb, Keyshawn, Jones, first team all defense. He's back. And he's doing other things. He's scoring. He's passing. He's facilitating. He's, putting everyone else in a position to be successful on the defensive end. Chatter. All these sorts of things. Deflections. Just being really, really long and being Herb Jones. I can't ask for anything more than that. So I was really impressed with Herb. And that was the game. That was the game. Now, the Pelicans, as I foreshadowed, they take on Wembanyama and the Spurs to open our home opener, I suppose they're called, at the Smoothie King Centre. That is at 7 p.m. Central Time on Friday night. Get down to the Smoothie King Centre if you haven't got tickets. It's going to be really interesting because Wemby had 40 and 15 rebounds and 3 blocks on 70% shooting with no turnovers today against Anthony Davis. We might not have any centres besides Derek Queen and Hunter Dickinson. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there on Friday night, because what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? So, get down to the Smoothie King Centre, fill it up, make people feel ya in the crowd. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear it through the TV. I'll be at home Saturday morning, coffee in hand, ready to rock and roll again. And we're going to do this all again straight after that. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave it at that. This has been Flock. I'm Lyle Swithenbank, all the way from Perth, Western Australia. At Lyle Swithenbank on Twitter, at Lyle Pels on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on the audio version, hit that download button. 5-star review, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. I appreciate all the support. We will continue to grow. I'll be here. You'll be there. Stay safe. And of course, bye for now.